Yo, what's up guys? Inco here with the build video update for the Fire Reap Chieftain. This will be the final update for the build. You guys have already seen the mapping of that. You know, it's Chieftain, you're kind of at the mercy of Flame Dash. You could maybe use Shield Charge or something if you have attack speed, if it's fine. Faster attacks, you could sacrifice some gems or Arcane Surge if you want to be faster. But like currently mine's just at the mercy of Flame Dash. And having said that, we're just going to do a Invitation, more Monster Life, Enfeeble, and Reduce Effective Non-Curse Aura. I want to showcase this one because I want to stress how strong this mod is, and even more so in maps, especially if on your Atlas tree, you have all of these nodes taken. Increase effective modifiers on non-unique maps. It's going to boost that, and I believe all of these add up to, I want to say 40. Probably looking right at it, but anywho, those boost the modifiers on the map. And if you look at our defenses before unbuffed, we're at 23k armor, 90 fizz reduction, and 15k evasion, right? So now we go in here in this invitation, and then after we do this, we'll go over you know, the changes to the build and everything. Now, if you look at our build, we're at 11k armor, 80 fizz reduction, and 6700 evasion. And it's also lowering all our other non-curse auras. So like our regen and everything else. And another one that's not so fun on this build is reduce regen. But you can just not use Righteous Fire and you're going to be fine. So we'll go ahead and hop into this, and then we'll go over the changes with the build, talk about that. I completely missed the Drox with that, so. They're dead? Oh, his immortality. One shot Baron. Say, what's going on with this dude? As you see, we're getting like 10 brittle or so on them as one of the changes that we made. And that was actually from a YouTube comment, which I'm just kind of invested into another build, but is definitely very good. And I think this character can be min-maxed even further from here. So on the first video, Leo Travis, I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. He recommended putting Brittle into the build. So before we had Avatar of Fire, and so we were just fully converted to Fire because of Chieftain Ascendancy, giving 50% Fizz to Fire here. And he mentioned not taking Avatar of Fire, getting Fizz to Cold, whether from like, you know, a Delve or, you know, just the craft, which is what we opted for, the Glove Craft, to get 22% of Fizz converted to cold damage. But unbuffed, we still have, you know, a good chunk of cold damage. And as you've seen there, we were getting 10% brittle. And I put it in the config to be 9 just because it can be getting boosted some by Taste of Hate. And I tested without Taste of Hate against Shaper Guardians, and I was at 9.1. And so I'm just going to leave it at 9. But just know if you get more Fizz or Fizz is extra and stuff, you can potentially boost that brittle even further. And that opens up a lot of opportunities for us. As you see, we no longer have a Diamond Flask. So if you want to go full damage, Auto Faith is your option. Auto Faith is going to give you an insane amount of damage, over 1 million more damage. You can go more defensive. You can use a Jade Flask. You can opt for like a Taste of Hate like I did here. Whatever flask you really want for the last slot. Like I said, we put the Fizz convert to cold here. And so we took these Fizz to Fire Mastery instead of the extra exposure. And also in the POV, it's going to be the same. It's going to have Wave of Conviction because these mods don't work in POV. They inflict fire exposure, and I don't know how to put it in the config right. So just know it's getting an extra -2 to fire res because of Wave of Conviction. Sorry, I don't really know how to write that in config. Just putting it out there. Another thing you can do instead of Doomcast If you, because like this ring's bad. Like you can essence craft. You can essence craft a ring to be much better. If I can get over there. With the Fizz's extra fire, which is the okay, well it's the essence that's missing here. I'm actually drawing a blank. Anyway, you can craft it with that to get Fizz's extra, and that's a good chunk of extra damage. And if you put like a stat stacking one here, like Utmost Intellect or the Dexterity one, that's going to obviously give you a lot more pen, a lot more Omniscience, and also give you more resist, more freedom with that. You can craft a much better belt. Same thing with the gloves. You can get Chaos Res and everything in these. You can get 2 max Fire Res. On the shield, if I were to finish this build, I would obviously get max Fire Res on the suffixes here. You don't really need the crit chance for spells anymore. You don't need to stress as much because of Brittle. So we're going to have that up. And we also I didn't expect to get this too fast. Like I was expecting to spend the whole day. So I actually have leftover Anomalous Reefs because we leveled them in offhand. So the first one we did nothing. And then the second one hit 2120. And so I had these other ones left over. And I was like, well, alrighty then. And then we did end up getting the Assassin's Mark Curse effect, which is a lot more damage too. One thing I want to mention with this is just on boss. And even though it is like the highest damage, if you want consistent damage all throughout, because like even if you notice on the bosses there, I didn't always have Assassin's Mark on them because the mana cost, and if I'm using like movements, like it's, 33, our mana is 43. So if I use like Enduring Cry or Flame Dash, I can't immediately put that on until the mana regen. So something there. So if you want, max blood charge is great, reap damage is great, and the Righteous Fire increased spell damage one is also great. Just upgrading your gems and stuff is going to boost the damage a lot. Obviously, a Divergent Vol Righteous Fire, so you have a Vol Righteous Fire to pop on bosses, is going to be a lot more damage too. There's still a lot more that can be pushed on this build to be a lot of damage, but I'm pretty happy with it as it stands right now. Everything I've thrown at it has, completely obliterated it. And at this point, already making a new build in that and gearing that one up. So this will be the final update for this build. And you can definitely push this a lot further. But I mean, even right now, like one thing that would be absolutely insane for this build, I'll just mention this, double corrupting Skin of the Loyals. So, I mean, even our gems, we didn't even get our gems to not even rank 3. Oh, we also changed this. So we're now using Awaken Added Fire, and this also gives a +1 to Reap. So if you see, our Reap is actually level 31, which is pretty insane. So yeah, a big thing would be is if you got either +2 duration, +2, like any of these two, +2 duration, +2 AoE, or +1 socketed gems. Any of those two on the implicits is going to give an extra 2 levels to Reap. Obviously, the highest damage one would be +2 duration or AoE and +1 of socketed gems, because that's also going to boost your other gems in here. So that would be the highest damage option, and that one would be insane. But I mean, like right now, no problems with Maven, pretty much deletes everything like instantly. And you do have some variants. Like when this is up, your damage is obviously insanely higher. So there's that. Also, you want to be using your focus. Your zealotry is always up. You're going to keep that up all the time. That's not an issue. Having your Assassin's Mark on the enemy. But yeah, focusing when you're attacking the boss. And then if that's up, obviously your damage is through the roof because it's 100% fizz as a extra. So yeah. And the jewel. This jewel is really bad. I never swapped it from a older iteration of this build when it was Exsanguinate. So there's a lot of stuff that can still be updated on this build. But I'm very happy with it. I'm going to leave it here. If you guys have any questions about the build or anything, let me know. And I'll see you guys on the next video, the next build. Hope you guys enjoy. Take care.